Crypto here on Ivan on Tech. We are of course broadcasting live straight out of Stockholm, Sweden, and we do this show each and every day at 8 a.m. Central European summertime, but on weekends it's 11. Today's Sunday's weekend, so it's 11. I come to you like an atomic clock each and every day. Look, we have some major, absolutely major news to discuss, and that is the fact that the stock market might, and it is according to me very likely that we might see some significant correction in the stock market, basically a second wave of dumping, a second wave of downwards price action in the stock market. And one of the most important news today in regards to the stock market is of course Warren Buffett selling all his airline stocks. You know, for the longest time we've been debating in the financial space whether he just sold a bit of airlines so that he's below 10% ownership of these airlines, because you know, if you are above 10% you need to be reporting a lot. You get into a whole new rule set as a shareholder, because now you're a huge shareholder. If you have more than 10%, now you have to disclose, you have to report. There are many rules set out by the SEC for such big shareholders. So we've known that Buffett has been dumping airlines, and the explanation has been he just wants to get below 10%, so he doesn't need to do all of this reporting and compliance. But now it turns out he sold everything. And that shows a lot. That shows a lot how he views the state of the economy, how he views the state of the world. Unfortunately, he himself is not doing that well in this financial situation, because the whole company, Berkshire Hathaway, lost 50 billion in 2020 during Q1. And you know that he has been calling Bitcoin rat poison. But look, Bitcoin is the future. Is the future of money. Is the future of transfer of wealth and transfer of value across the world. While he is mostly, up until today, has been betting on dinosaurs like airlines, trains, banks, you know, these traditional things that he understands. And I do get his position as well. He only invests in things he understands. But here you go. Bitcoin is the most important asset of 2020. It is outperforming stocks, outperforming gold, outperforming everything. There's so much to discuss, guys, and we'll be focusing on this mechanic, stocks versus Bitcoin, how they are related, and also the potential of Bitcoin right now, basically in the next week, because you know the halving is just in 9 short days. And then we also have the very important perspective on the threats of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has a lot of threats, guys. And one of the biggest threats today is actually open banking. Now, obviously, open banking will not really attack Bitcoin's fundamental properties as money. It will not attack Bitcoin's properties as digital gold, as scarce digital asset that is here to stay. That's not going to happen. But open banking attacks directly Bitcoin's user front, because users, obviously, they just want a nice app. They just want something to use quickly with a nice user experience that really plugs into their current bank account, current banking situation. And here is where we really need to be looking at open banking and evaluating the threats from open banking. If you don't know what it is, I will explain to you today. But anyway, guys, welcome everyone who is watching this live. Let me know exactly where you are tuning in from, whether it is from Brazil, from Costa Rica, from Africa, from Ghana. Let me know if you've seen this Ghana funeral dance, is the biggest meme of 2020. Whether it is from the US, from Belarus, from Russia, from Sweden, from Indonesia, Philippines, I see Germany, I see chat going wild completely. I cannot even read what you're writing, guys. It's so quick, but I see France, Brazil, Indonesia. Nice. Big shout out to everyone who is watching on ivanontech.com/live. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm telling you, you should right now go to ivanontech.com/live. You should subscribe here. You should enable web alerts. You should enable notifications. And you should also enable dark mode if you like. We'll support all of these features, as you can see. But anyway, guys, big shout out. I see Edward. I see Hank the Tank, Gobi Desert, Lego Boy, Moon Miner, Brisk, Gibilis, Edward. Guys, welcome. Crypto, Bernard. Big shout out to Nate for doing timestamps, and for Gaba for developing a lot when it comes to the chat and a lot of other things on the back end as well. Crypto Kala, guys, welcome. Let me know exactly what you're drinking. Today we're drinking black coffee, no milk, no sugar involved, as always. Now, before we go into the markets, I want to share with you this. And this is a very important piece of information to start off with. You know, our friend from the moon, Carl from the moon, tweeted this. Bitcoin is officially outperforming gold and the S&P 500 in this financial crisis. And really, Bitcoin is the #1 asset of 2020, the best performing asset of 2020. When we see this terrible recession, we see this terrible freezing of the economy. A lot of assets are down. A lot of assets have really had really uncertain times. But the winner, for now at least, is clear. It's Bitcoin. Now, the year is not over. We still need to see how the year progresses. But up until now, you know, it's Bitcoin. I've been discussing this. The chart below compares the returns for these assets in 2020. So it's Bitcoin, gold, and S&P 500. Believe it or not, but Bitcoin is a safe haven. Now, you know that we are close to a new move down, probably. Obviously, nothing is for sure, but there are many signs that in May we're going to have another move down in the stock market. And I think here is where it's very important for Bitcoin to decouple, because up until today, we've seen some correlation between Bitcoin and stock market, but the same is with gold. We've seen it with gold as well. And especially if you look at gold in 2008, during the last crisis, we also saw gold correlated with the stock market, but then it completely broke loose. Completely broke all correlation. Why? Because now people were in a position where the trust itself to the monetary system was going down. was going down. And the same is right now, but maybe times 10 or times 100. The trust is now disappearing way faster than in 2008 in regards to the financial system. So just a question of time before gold, Bitcoin, and other real assets really start diverging from, for example, the stock market. So that's very important to realize. But even with current correlations, we're seeing Bitcoin completely outperforming both stocks and gold, and is really the number one asset. And it's very important in these times because you realize that when you see this result on paper, and we really have to finish 2020 for this result to really be confirmed. But if it is the case that Bitcoin confirms itself as the number one asset in 2020, it's so clear for all wealth managers, for all hedge funds, for all pension funds, that it's very important to have a bit of Bitcoin because it is clearly a safe haven asset if we manage to hold this position until the end of the year. So that's key. Now, Bitcoin is up 2.6% since yesterday. So all of your bags are probably pumping at least with 2.6%. Ethereum 1.14. XRP 2.66. All in all, bullish momentum, bullish sentiment, and the bullish numbers. Now, looking at the big winners, we see Holo, we see Ethereum Classic, Hyperion, Matic, and the biggest losers today are Hive, Hedera, Energy, and Nervous. Hive still sliding down. That's very interesting. You know, Hive has really been on a bull run since they forked, and they really had outperformed a lot of assets, including Steam, but now they've been falling for many days in a row. So that's going to be very interesting to follow. Now, as always, we do have our collaboration with Bybit. If you go to ivantoy.com/live, you come to this bonus land where you can get all kinds of bonuses like $90 on Bybit, or 112 on Femex, or 50 on Crypto.com. So definitely go to bonus land if you are interested. And so on Bybit, obviously you can short, you can long, you can trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, XRP. You can use leverage up to 100x, but be extremely careful. So all of these bonuses, because you have to use these links if you want the bonus, you go to ivantoy.com/live, you get into the bonus land, you go wild in the bonus land if you're careful and only if you're a professional trader. If you don't know what you're doing, do not go to bonus land. Do not go, stay away from bonus land if you are completely new. But if you are trading, you know how this works, you are comfortable with your skills, go and try it out if you haven't yet. Now, moving on, we're talking about the Bitcoin yearly moving average. Right now, breaking all-time highs. Now, you know, there are many different ways to look at the Bitcoin price. We always talk about this magical, this unicorn land of $20,000. This amazing, sparkles-filled unicornish place of 20K. But the thing is, if you actually count the number of days we were at 20K, it was basically one day. It was less than a day. We just touched it and then went down. If you count the number of days we were above 18,000, is also, you can literally count them on your hand. If you count number of days we were above 17, that's the same. I mean, most of the time we've been around 10K if you look at 2017 and 18, and that's really what this chart shows. The average yearly moving price, the average yearly moving price. So when 2018 started, really, we averaged at approximately 9K. Even though we for a moment went to 20K, it was so insignificant in terms of time, we just moved past 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It was literally in a few days went from 10K to 20K and then back. But thinking back on that amazing time in 2017 and 18 when we did this amazing bull run, it sounded and it felt like a lot longer. I remember it being a lot longer, that we were at 20K for a few days, but then if you look at the actual numbers, we just touched and then straight back. But now we are breaking this all-time high of 9K yet again. So this is actually quite powerful, because if it is the case that we break it with momentum, we break this moving average with momentum, we will see new all-time highs in moving averages. And who knows what 2020 will end at in terms of moving average for Bitcoin. We have been quite strongly around 10K. Then for a few weeks, you know, we went all the way to 3.7 to 3.7 land. It was very interesting times. And obviously, if you had the long-term vision, you hodled through the 3.7 land and 3.7 times. You maybe even bought more, because now we're back to 10K. But if you look at the average, basically we started the year at 7K, then we went to 8, 9, 10 approximately. Were there for a while and then dumped quickly to 3.7, and it took a few weeks to get back, but now we're back. All in all, you see that we are around 9K for average, and that's key to keep in mind. Now, obviously, the biggest question is what will happen next? What will happen next? Yes, well, the halving, but we also have the stock market really being in a position of danger. Mauro, thank you so much. Big shout out to Mauro. He's done a few memes, you know, on Twitter. Mauro, big shout out, long time supporter of the channel, Mauro. Thank you so much. So, you know, we've been talking about the fact that stocks have recovered quite well, and the thing right now is that although the prices are back, you look at S&P, you look at Nasdaq, we've basically recovered from the Corona dump. The fundamentals are terrible. So in reality, the stock market is so expensive in comparison to what you're getting. Before Corona, at least you can get the same stocks, but the fundamental and the future vision was much better. We did not know what would happen with this virus. So we had clearer skies. We had clearer future, and we knew that everything's going to be fine most probably. Then this unrealistic and improbable event happened, which is the global pandemic, global virus. That is when fundamentals changed overnight, but now the prices are basically back. The prices are the same. We now see Warren Buffett losing $50 billion in a quarter, and I told you on Twitter that he should have bought a bit Bitcoin, even though he doesn't really understand it, and his theory is that never invest in something you don't understand, and I respect that, but looking at his portfolio is literally a dinosaur portfolio. Airlines, trains, banks, he basically is into dinosaurs, unfortunately. So the question is it better to only invest in what you understand, but that becomes dinosaurs in a few decades? I mean, yes, you understand some business, but the question is, how long are you in those businesses before they become dinosaurs? And when do you need to re-educate yourself? So with technology, it took a while for Warren Buffett to get it. Now he gets it. Technology. But he missed out on a lot of gains in the 90s. He also, of course, missed out on the crash. So that was maybe good as well. But all in all, you understand that his theory does not really correspond to Bitcoin that much. I mean, Bitcoin is money of the future. He's calling Bitcoin rat poison because he doesn't get it yet. He calls it rat poison. So all in all, I respect his view. I respect how he views the market. Obviously, he's an investment legend. You cannot tell anything against that. He is a legendary investor, no question about that. But it's just that when he says that Bitcoin is rat poison while he himself is in airlines, trains, banks, losing 50 billion in a quarter, simply doesn't make sense. But what's important is that his view, because he has a good grip on macro, that's something that we need to acknowledge. He has a good grip on macro. So he is right now viewing a very, very dystopic situation, in my view, if you listen to this. And by the way, we have a donation from Jab. Joining the Academy is one of the best decisions made over the past 10 years. Keep it up, Ivan. Good work. Thanks, Jab. Truly appreciate that. Truly appreciate that feedback. So let's listen to Warren, and he talks about why he dumped all airline stocks. Completely all, 100%, he dumped all of the stocks. So let me know if the sound works. I will play to you this clip from his shareholder meeting, where they basically just dumped everything in airlines. The
airline business, and I may be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think it changed in a very major way, and it's obviously changed in the fact that the four companies are each going to borrow, perhaps an average of at least 10 or 12 billion each. Well, you have to pay that back out of earnings over some.
So that's important. Number one is that he says that these companies, airlines, they have to borrow so much in the near future. They have to borrow billions and billions, then they have to service that debt. And you understand that if it is the case that they lose just 20% of the passengers, by the way, right now they've lost basically 100%. Right now the losses are 100%. But even if the economy rebounds, we go back, and even if they regain most of the customers and they only lose 20% of the customers all in all when we regain the economy, it's still the fact that they have to service huge debt. They still have to pay for the 100% of the airplanes, for the 100% of the staff, 100% of the expenses, but now they only have 80% of the passengers. So that's also important. So let's continue listening to why he continues to explain why he dumped everything.
Period of time. I mean, you're 10 or 12 billion dollars worse off if that happens. And of course, in some cases, they're having to sell stock or sell the right to buy a stock at these prices. And that takes away from the upside down.
And also because they have all of this debt, they have all of these expenses, they will have probably to issue new stock. A company, they can issue unlimited amount of stock. And he says that they probably will have to do that to sell stock. They will probably not be able to buy back stock from the market. So all in all, this is not as lucrative to him anymore as he thought just a few months ago. You remember he was super bullish on airlines when Coronis came around. He was extremely bullish, but now he completely changed his mind. So let's continue.
Stock trading is dead. All the best traders are trading options right now, and I want you to be.
And I don't know whether 2 or 3 years from now that as many people will fly as many passenger miles as they did last year. They may and they may not. But the future is much less clear to me about how the business will turn out through absolutely no fault of the airlines themselves. It's something that was a low probability event happened, and it happened to hurt particularly.
Yeah, and then he continues talking about that, hey, low probability event, nobody could have predicted it, and so on and so forth, and the business is just looking bad, so I'm out. Look, what's important to note is that obviously it's not only airlines. Obviously, this is entire stock market right now that is in a similar position. Knowledge is power. Thank you, Arturo. You're 100% correct, and thank you a lot. So right now, we're witnessing prices that are extremely high. Look at any stock. Look at any stock in the stock market right now. Do some calculations on PE ratios. It's impossible. How would you do it? You don't know their earnings. You just know their price. And that price is basically what it was before the whole collapse. Now, their earnings are still coming out for the first quarter. That's important. And we don't know what it's going to be for the full year, because that's when you really can get a full picture of the PE ratio. So we don't even know how to value all of the stock market, number one. Number two, we have the Fed pumping in money like crazy. So we even more lose the connection to reality because of all money printing. And that money goes straight into financial assets, to a large extent, straight into financial assets. So therefore, many people are now expecting a big fat juicy dump in May. The stock market is probably, according to many analysts and according to me as well, not financial advice, but the way I'm viewing it is that there is a good chance that we see some kind of correction. And you know, when you have a bear market, and I do think that we are in a bear market in equities, so when we have a bear market, usually you get bear market rallies, and these rallies are very severe and very quick. So that is exactly what we've seen right now. We've basically gone from all of these lows, from 2020 lows, and then we quickly recovered into basically soon new all-time highs. Believe it or not, the stock market might see new all-time highs if we continue like this. But here is where it's very important to be aware of the bear market rallies, because they are violent. You look at the dot-com bubble crash. We also saw these rallies that almost created new all-time highs before they continued down. So that's key and important to understand, and that's why you have to look at Bitcoin right now as well, because Bitcoin has to be uncorrelated in this next move down. Bitcoin basically needs to stay the same, maybe go down a bit, have very low correlation, or just completely outperform upwards. And with the halving, everything is possible. Just a few weeks ago, he was in an interview telling people to buy stocks. I think he's just a Bitcoin I thought you said he's a big, like a Bitcoin hodler. Got it. Warren Buffett, got it. Yeah, I haven't seen that. I will check it out, but he was bullish. Yes, he was bullish just a few weeks back, and we're going to see exactly what's going to happen. And you know, a few weeks back, to be fair, the stock market has recovered, but according to me, not financial advice, it's a bear market rally. So for how long do you stay in that? So that's number one. Number two is that we're going to discuss the hidden threats to Bitcoin. And I thought this article from Matthew Unobuya was amazing. He was basically talking about open banking. Now, open banking is this new regulation that is happening primarily in the EU, but also in the US and worldwide soon as well. This basically means that banks need to open up their APIs, need to open up all access to their databases, so that if you have an idea for a financial app, for a fintech app, you should be able to build it, and so that people can log into your app, but still see their balance from their bank account, and so on and so forth. So that is what open banking is. Basically, banks are now forced in many cases to open up their infrastructure. Crypto Joker. With the inflation caused by fiat printing, the stock market will crash up in fiat, but down in reality. Crypto Joker, I think that's a very good take. But the thing is, when you are seeing this flight to safety, the Fed is trying to counteract that with printing. And flight to safety basically means deflation. The Fed is printing to counteract deflation. But as I told you yesterday, the probabilities are always that they're going to overshoot. So it's like you say, sooner or later, this will end up in some kind of hyperinflationary state. And when we are talking about the stock market crashing, we're really talking about just temporarily, because if the US dollar truly collapses, you see it's going to be like Venezuela, and Venezuela is in a bull market when it comes to stocks for decades already. Why? Because the currency is worthless. So if you measure the stocks in that currency, it's a never-ending bull market. Venezuelans are the biggest and the most significant bulls of this planet. They have been in the bull market for decades, and that the stocks just continuing to skyrocket. So you are 100% correct on that point. But so coming back to open banking, this is a big move. This is something that is happening very rapidly, and this was decided upon at least in the EU a few years back, and right now in 2020 is when the implementation needs to be in place. So a few years back, banks got this new regulation that said, hey, in 2 years you have to open up all APIs. You need to be able to provide data to other third parties that want to use your data about your users. And now a few years later is the deadline for this to be in place, because obviously for a bank to implement this, it's terrible. I mean, for them to open up with their old infrastructure is going to take years. So that's why they had already 2 years. Now, this is going to happen in the US as well, and probably worldwide. And so this article basically says that open banking could wipe out crypto in 12 months. I think it's a bit over-exaggerated, because obviously open banking is nothing compared to crypto. It is still the same old fiat. It is still same old system. It's just that you get better and nicer user interfaces, prettier apps developed by different app developers. That's the only thing you get. You basically take a pig and then you put some makeup on the pig. It is still a pig, even though it has makeup. So that's what's going to happen. But you cannot deny the fact that it is going to be a nicer user experience for the average person. For the average person, that's completely correct. And that's why, from the user experience perspective, we need to keep an eye on this. Absolutely, because now people will have nice, amazingly looking apps for lending, for getting interest, for doing all kinds of banking services. It's all through these apps. It's all through these apps that different fintech companies are going to be building, and it's all connected to their bank accounts and so on and so forth. So it's obviously a user experience threat to crypto, to DeFi, alright? So that's something we need to be keeping an eye on. So you see, Visa and MasterCard, they have really been trying to position themselves in this industry by buying a ton of startups in the fintech space for different things. I mean, for different things. They're buying together billions worth of startups. So Visa alone is responsible for 5.3 billion in acquisitions. The same with MasterCard. MasterCard is even bigger. You know, MasterCard, they're really buying everything. They're buying everything in fintech because they know that cards are soon worthless. Nobody's going to use cards, all right? It's just a question of time. And right now, the only reason why we're still using cards is because Visa and MasterCard, they're trying to break down this development. Not to kind of break down to destroy it. No. They're buying a bunch of startups, but they're putting brakes on. They're slowing down this development. In China, everyone is using QR codes. We are still using physical cards. It is Stone Age. It is Stone Age. And obviously, both Visa and MasterCard, they could switch to QR codes in a matter of seconds. In a matter of seconds because the technology is not difficult. But they're not doing that. Why? Because then they would be killing their own business. Better to have the Stone Age business running, the card business running, so people are still using them, they're still relevant, and they have some kind of barrier to entry. Because if they switch to QR codes, now every small startup can also have QR codes. Look, they need to keep cards alive as long as possible. Speaking about China, greetings from China. Lifetime is 2 p.m. in China on workday. Only able to see this amazing live stream on weekend. Man, that's amazing. That's amazing. So you're getting past the great firewall, I guess. Or maybe, look, maybe we're not banned. YouTube is banned in China, but maybe ivantoy.com/live is broadcasting to the full Chinese population. That's actually amazing. That's actually amazing. So, what's important here is that these guys are positioning themselves. They want to be at the forefront of open banking. And this article basically says that for crypto to win, it really needs to push towards the digital asset narrative, that we have this digital gold. And it is true. It is a big narrative. At the same time, as you can see, for example, with this chat, you can do crypto super chat. We have quite nice user interfaces as well in crypto. For example, if you have different use cases that don't require you to do confirmations, you can have amazing instant payments with Bitcoin as well. Cards have advantage over a dead phone though. Well, that's true, but when is your phone dead, to be honest? I mean, I agree with you, but then you need to also be reliant on the ecosystem of cards. Sometimes your card won't work. You go to an ATM, they don't give you money. You try to pay that doesn't work. At least with a phone app, you have more control over your cash in a way, because this one you can lose. But it really, I think it's a generational question, because, you know, cards, I always lose them. I always forget what the hell I put them. So it's a preference. It's a preference, I think. But you make sense as well. It's a preference. My phone, I always know where it is. My card, it's a bit more difficult. But why do I need to carry this, to be honest? Why do I need to carry this? I can 100% ensure that my phone has battery. I always have a bunch of power banks when I'm traveling, so it's never a problem for me, but I understand it's a preference. So good point, VUF. So this article basically says, hey, we need to be moving more towards digital assets, digital gold. At the same time, we are seeing right now experiences in crypto as well that are instant. For example, if you pay with Bitcoin for the super chat, it's instant. You don't have to wait. But it's zero conf. And you understand that at the end of the day, we will probably see this merging. Open banking will merge with crypto. And I thought this was a very important point. And you see apps, for example, this Emma app that they mentioned. Apparently it's some kind of app where you see your banking details, but you also get interaction with crypto. And in the future, these apps will integrate with DeFi as well. So that's really the user experience of the future in my view, that you have an app, it integrates fully with your banking accounts, and it also integrates fully with DeFi and all other innovations on the blockchain. Probably it needs to be a mix at least in the beginning. And that is, by the way, good for Bitcoin. It's good for crypto. Just like when iPhone was announced, you know, you could use an iPhone to call Nokia. That it would be completely stupid for Steve Jobs to say, no. iPhone will have our own phone network, our own phone system, number system. So you cannot call Nokia from an iPhone. It's actually very good if you have these open banking apps that are both banking and DeFi and crypto in one. Just like iPhone. It was just one phone. It was interoperable with all other phones. You got a phone. You didn't feel this pain of completely being now in completely isolated ecosystem. And then the share of this smartphone just grew and grew and grew. It ate all Nokias. It ate everyone. BlackBerry. Where is BlackBerry? It's eaten by iPhone somewhere, okay? So the same will happen with crypto and DeFi. We need to have them in parallel, in the same apps, in the same user experience, in the same ecosystems, and then it's going to eat the traditional space because it's more efficient. It's more efficient, it's better, you get better interface, you get everything better. So in reality, I would rename this article and say the hidden advantage of Bitcoin and open banking, and how open banking is basically open up flood doors for crypto, to be honest with you. Let's see, Divai is a project doing it. Oh, cool. Piotr, cool. They just bought a fintech company releasing. Yeah, cool. I don't know Divai, to be honest with you. I haven't checked them. Dharma is doing amazing things. So Dharma is coming from the DeFi perspective, and Dharma is moving more and more towards the banking perspective. Now they added Visa. They're going to add other banking integrations as well. So Dharma is the one I know. Divai I haven't tried. Some fintech company are adopting blockchain crypto. I'm lucky to be, very nice. That's amazing. Please tell us which company if you want. Maybe it's a secret, but it would be cool to know which it is. Alright guys, that's basically all the topics I wanted to share with you. I mean, another cool topic is from the Sylvian guy, basically telling you that if you want to be a millionaire, do not measure your net worth in dollars. Measure it in satoshis. So getting 1 million satoshis, it's not that far off from the average investor. Crypto Fruit, what's up? VBTC is being added to MakerDAO as a collateral type. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, look, MakerDAO, they are going to have all kinds of assets, all kinds of new different things you can speculate on, use as collateral, and be integrating into this ecosystem. So it's just a question of time. David, where is the best place to find collaborators for an open source blockchain project? I mean, there are many. Just be active on online communities. If you remember, in our academy, you have the forum. That's an amazing online community. It's so active, it is absolutely mind-blowing. So if you are in our academy, you already have one of the best platforms to do this. And if you just look at the activity, it's insane. It's absolutely insane, the activity we have in our forum. I mean, look, just 1 minute, 2 minutes, here you see like the activity. And it has a lot to do, obviously, with the course materials, what is going on, but the discussion rate in our academy, it's insane. And our academy is really blowing up right now. It's growing exponentially. It's growing more than Bitcoin, to be honest with you. To be honest with you. We're hiring people like crazy because, you know, when you are in our academy, you get forum. And as soon as you have an issue, as soon as you have a problem in the forum, we have someone come and help you. Someone who works for us, who knows everything about the courses, they come quickly and help you. So, with the increase in our students, we had to hire a crazy amount of people. So that's the best way to get them, to get help and also to brainstorm. I mean, we had this amazing project by Bassam being discussed here. Let me see if I can find it. Bassam, he did this amazing proposal on a project in our, let's see, yeah, this one. So do like this, do like Bassam. See, he posted this, academic graduates, let's build this DeFi project together. I thought this was very interesting. Basically, it is about, getting people some money to study, getting people money to study. You know, people want to study, they don't have money. So Bassam basically proposed, if you have someone you want to help get education, you pull together a bunch of money, you don't give it to them. You don't give it to them instantly. You just put it into compound. That money earns interest in compound, and the interest is being used to pay for education. I mean, it's insane that you can do that right now with DeFi. You don't have to give money, but you can earn interest with money and give that to whatever you want. Show it on the chart graph. Yeah, we should produce these charts. I mean, we have absolutely insane charts. Let me see if I can quickly log into my account here. Man, I don't have it in my computer. But just the number of the posts per day, it's exponential. And number of users also right now exponential. So that's amazing. Love the academy. Love the academy. Yeah, guys. So go right now. And here's, by the way, the post by Bassam, that I showed you. So go right now to academy.iontech.com. And what's important with it the most is that you get personalized study plan and personalized study counselor. The first thing you do when you join the academy is that you tell us exactly what you want, exactly what your goals are. So if you go here, we explain to you that you get personalized study plan. You just answer a few questions, what your goals are. And we have so many courses. It's important for you to get your study plan so that you know which courses to take. And you also get a personalized study counselor, basically an assistant you can reach anytime. He will help you with the coursework. He will help you how to reach your goal and so on and so forth. It's on demand. You get certification. Man, it's so much. And we also work with all of these companies to facilitate employment, facilitate opportunities. We have a lot of these companies we're working with. We have a lot of success stories. Anyway, guys, you get the point. You get the point. I needed to plug it in because it's so amazing. And when I see a chance to talk about the academy, I will do it. I will do it shamelessly, telling you about all the features because it's literally the best thing I've ever seen. So if I had to review this platform myself. And you know, we work with it every day. That's basically my biggest passion in life, to create this academy and develop it. Yeah. Anyway, guys, what's going on? Do we get a physical certificate? You get a certificate for every course you complete. For every course you complete, you do a great job, you get a certificate. So that's key. So yeah, go to academy.iontech.com. Lol, Ivan, shill it. Yeah, I mean, I'm shilling academy every day. Is the best thing ever. Look, let us know if the payment actually worked out. But I didn't see yours either, to be honest. I don't understand how the halving can cause the price to go 5x or 10x. Just 2x seems logical. Well, not really, because you understand that it's exponential moves we're talking about. It's exponential moves. And that is why when you're seeing halving happen, we don't usually go 2x, like you say, but the way the demand and mechanisms work in the market, we see an exponential increase, not a linear, like you're saying, like, you know, just 2x over time would also not be linear. But you understand the point. When you see a halving, through statistical analysis, we've shown that we jump a whole order of magnitude, usually a whole order of magnitude. Now, we're gonna see, 2x in itself, it really depends on how you measure it. Are you talking about the fact that we're gonna go from the averages of approximately 10K to averages of approximately 20K? That might be the case. So let me explain more what I mean. You see, here is the Bitcoin price moving average. So during the past peak, we saw a moving average of approximately 10K. During the last cycle, we saw approximately moving average of the peak at 1K. So you see a whole new order of magnitude we jumped. So looking at history, and if you look at the previous halving, it was also order of magnitude. The average was like $100. So you see, we went from 100, then we saw this cycle right here, 20,000. Now we're seeing this cycle with average being at 10,000. So if history is to at least rhyme a bit, we're gonna see 100k approximately. This means that we probably will go way above 100k. Just like here, we went way above 10k. We touched 20k, but then we quickly came down. So probably it's a good chance that we go to 100k and even above, but that the average will be around 100k. So that's key. That's key to understand. Yeah. Let's see. Sol Crypto, your students will be refugees. All right. I see it, Yoda. Nice. Okay, cool. More questions, guys. Ivan, how do you see crypto and governments work together to provide essential services? There are a lot of things. One of the biggest things is obviously the situation with keeping track of who owns what. We're now having a project here in Sweden with real estate and keeping track of real estate. We see a project with as well self-sovereign identity. I mean, if you want to learn more, you should go and check. If you want to really dive deep, you should check EBSI, European Blockchain. Let's see, is this one? I think it's this one. I've shown it on the stream previously. Basically, an EU initiatives that EU is doing. So EBSI blockchain, EBSI blockchain. I don't want to spend too much time googling this, but you can do it yourself. EBSI. So let's see. Man, it's a bit slow loading. Anyway, EBSI, go and check it out. They have already done nice website with all the use cases. So I will let this load. Maybe we can come back when it's loaded. Glenn, nice. Thanks a lot. Ivan, also thanks a lot. Oof, using DAI. That's interesting. Using DAI for donations. I really want to do mining, but especially the mining pool software seems to be like malware. McAfee warned that so what do you mean? McAfee antivirus warned you basically, yeah. Ivan, I'm sure that you're a high fan. Not that I'm a fan, I haven't even used it, but I think it's cool that they have this community that took the matter into their own hands and they forked. What do you think about pump and dump? Well, to be honest with you, I'm just following the price developments, and like I said today, they've just dumped like crazy. In the other way, I disagree as well, because it's important to reach people even that don't speak English, so they understand the power. We cannot really have this mindset if we want to reach global reach and global attention, and crypto is all about global. So that's also key. Will the low cost of oil make mining cheaper and easier? Edward, that's a great question, because you know that Bitcoin can be mined anywhere at any time. You have an oil rig and you have some extra oil, you don't know where to put it. Like right now with all of the oil excess, there's no way to put oil, so that's why it went negative, you know that. But if they just understood how mining works, they know that they can just push all this energy into mining basically in their mining rig, in their oil rig, they can just put all energy into mining instantly. All excess energy production can be put into mining. That's why energy producers, in my view, will be the biggest miners in the future when they understand the idea, because you can literally, if you have some excess electricity, excess energy, you put it into mining. That's why mining is the biggest accelerator of renewable energy, because with renewables, the biggest issue is that you cannot utilize all energy you produce. You have a bunch of wasted energy. It's difficult to store it. It's difficult to transport. You lose a bunch of energy. So just put it into mining. You have some excess, put it into mining. It decentralizes mining. It gives an incentive to develop new renewable energy sources. So I do absolutely think that energy producers will put a lot of resources into mining, but on the other hand, it will make mining more expensive and difficult, because look, it's a free market and it's always balances, because if many people start mining, the difficulty of mining will go up. So as many people get to mine, more and more energy producers realize they can put their energy straight into mining. They will be pushing up the difficulty of mining. So, you know, that difficulty makes it so that one block is produced only 10 minutes. And if you have blocks produced faster, then the difficulty goes up. Joaquin, just learn by using it. Exactly. I mean, learning by English, you can learn in many ways. As a kid, the best way is to play like RuneScape or World of Warcraft like game, not Fortnite. Look, not some kind of shooter game. Then you're just wasting time. But if you play something where you have to read, you have to write, you have to like talk to people in English, that's amazing. That's where I felt I got a lot of like unfair advantage in learning English, because I played RuneScape. Ivan, can you make a RuneScape economy course? Can I make you? Mad Caleb, look, email me contact@ivantrade.com. It would be funny to do like a short, like mini course about Venezuela and the issues there. But look, economy in RuneScape, like it's powering Venezuela in many cases. And to learn English when you are a bit older, I mean, to be honest with you, it's like YouTube. YouTube taught me a lot of English, because each and every day I speak English. Or when you write, maybe you can write, but writing wasn't really for me, because it takes so much time to write something. I better just speak about it than write something. So that's why, writing is not really my number one priority, but, you gotta pick your priorities. Maybe you want to be good at writing. But I felt that writing, it wasn't as difficult, to be honest. I have a great English learning on Duolingo app. McBain, I've tried it, but it's just that I never really got something like, because you have to do things. That's why in our academy, we give you a bunch of projects that you can actually apply your knowledge practically. Duolingo app, I felt like, okay, I can like follow the app, but then I practically need to use it. So that's why it's important to combine Duolingo and practical use case. Yeah. Alright guys, typing is more than writing. Write ones and zeros, exactly. Topaz Network, nice. Alright guys, thank you so much for being here. I've learned English with video games. I remember when I was 6-7 playing Metal Gear Solid, almost 20 years. Got it. Yeah, you know, when you play, you learn so much. I mean, there are many words that I knew from reading. I never knew how to pronounce them. I mean, many words. I'm trying to think about something now, but it's difficult. Why is ETH trading pair low on Uniswap and other exchanges? Why can't I get ETH DAI like ETH USD? Well, because DAI is not a dollar. It's algorithmically, it is pushed towards dollar, but it's market forces, and basically it's credit-backed economy where you have the CDPs, and there are different incentives. When DAI is above $1, people need to create more CDPs to push it down because they create more supply. When it's below $1, people need to push it back up by burning DAI, by closing down CDPs. Yeah, so that's why it's not $1. Is there a good app for learning Russian? I have no clue, to be honest. I have not used any apps for that. And I don't need it, to be honest. Why don't we get some capital together, buy some land somewhere in Africa, build smart home with solar panels, BTC? I like your visionarism, Solid Crypto. Yeah, I wonder how much you can buy like a piece of land in Sahara for, or you know, Sahara may be too hot. And look, I'm not a construction engineer, so I cannot tell you exactly which piece of land we should take. We need some geology people to pick out a piece of land. But I do think that it sounds an amazing plan. We buy like a piece of land in Sahara. We somehow drill down to get water. I don't even know if that's possible, really. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about here when it comes to geology. If you can even drill to water in those places. But anyway, we do that somehow. We desalinate the ocean, maybe, alright? And we use it primarily to mine Bitcoin. We put the biggest Bitcoin mining rig, in the Sahara Desert. Why are people not doing that? Omar, why are you not doing that? You say that you're born in Sahara. Somebody said they're born. Was it Omar? So let me know how that works. Why are you not doing a big, giant, fat mining rig there with solar panels? I mean, the issue is in the desert, it becomes cold during the night. That's a big issue. So let's do it. Yeah. When you buy land, you have to do a lot of administration, Omar. Yeah, but if it's land like in the middle of Sahara, you know, like remote land, do you still need to administrate that? Or you just, you know, I mean, it's remote land, guys. Remote land. I guess you have to administrate it. I wonder how that works in those Sahara regions. Is it easy or is it difficult? Because it's right with many, like local tribes. Got it. Dust will cover the solar cell. Oof, that's true. But dust covers the solar cells, but dust is also hot, yeah? Sand is freaking hot on the beach. So if it covers the solar cells and it's hot, it's still energy. Right? Because I know, from my personal experience being on the beach when it's very hot, you're like burned alive. So maybe it's not that big of a problem that it's covered with sand. Not in the middle of Sahara. Places like Accra would have grades of cheap land. Oh, interesting. Got it, guys. Got it. You need helicopters to get there. Yeah. So we take a helicopter, we put all the mining rigs there, we build like a somehow we need to solve water. I don't know how we would do it, to be honest with you. It needs light, but not heat. Yeah, but we need special equipment because we have a special use case. We have special use case with both solar and hot sand. Someone has to build a solar panel that can both absorb from the sun and from the sand. Okay. It's just a matter of technology. And look, this is why it's good to do great things when you don't know anything about them, like I'm doing right now. I have no clue about solar panels, to be honest with you. I also have no clue about how to drill water in Sahara. But you know, I'm getting very enthusiastic because I'm naive in this respect. And that's the best way to be. Why? Because if you know too much about things, you would never start. Man, if I knew everything about running a YouTube channel, how much work it is, man, I would never have started it. If I knew how much I would have to study to even learn about Bitcoin, DeFi, I mean, I never would have started. So that's why you need to be naive. You need to just go there, dig the hole for water. It will be more difficult probably, but it's better to be naive than to be too smart and not do anything. You definitely don't want sand on the solar panel. Got it. But I'm not talking, we will not have solar panels. We will have a hybrid. It's solar panel and it can absorb heat from the sand, alright? We need we need basically ASICs, application-specific integrated circuit that can both do sun and sand. But anyway, guys, all in all, let's cut it there. I think it's a great point. We've done such a big tangent that I don't know how to recover from this tangent, to be honest with you. We just cut it here. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you a lot. Really fantastic times as always. Always fun topics, always fun discussions, always fun conversations with you guys. Thank you so much. And I see you all tomorrow at 8 a.m. because tomorrow is back to work, back